Executive Mansion, Washington, November 21st, 1864. Dear Madame, I have been shown in the files of the War Department a statement of the Adjutant General of Massachusetts that you are the mother of 5 sons who have died gloriously on the field of battle. I feel how weak and fruitless must be any words of mine which should attempt to beguile you from the grief of a loss so overwhelming. But I cannot refrain from tendering you the consolation that may be found in the thanks of the republic they died to save. I pray that our Heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement, and leave you only the cherished memory of the loved and lost, and the solemn pride that must be yours to have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. Yours very sincerely and respectfully, Abraham Lincoln. These are the words of a letter sent from the office of Abraham Lincoln at the height of the American Civil War. Some argue it is the most famous consolation letter by a president in American history. It was written after the governor of Massachusetts notified President Lincoln that a Massachusetts woman, Lydia Bixby, had lost 5 sons to the war. Lincoln scholar Carl Sandburg even says that the letter is a piece of the American Bible that, more darkly than the Gettysburg Address, wove its awful implication that human freedom so often was paid for with agony. It was written to show the gratitude of the nation and of the United States government for all those who gave their lives in order to maintain the Union, but especially to display the honor of patriotism. The letter is so famous that it has been a symbol of patriotic sacrifice for almost 150 years after it was written. It was even featured in Steven Spielberg's World War II epic Saving Private Ryan, in order to preface the plot of the film. While the Bixby letter has been seen as a symbol of sacrifice and providence since the Civil War, there is evidence that the letter is not what it seems. Questions surrounding the letter have circulated since the decades following the war. For a letter that has come to mean so much and represent such an important aspect of the propagated American spirit, the actual story behind the letter is more complicated than just American heroism. While Lydia Bixby was a Massachusetts woman with 5 sons who had all taken part in the war, the image of a grieving, exemplary Union mother is far from the reality. According to Bixby's granddaughter, Lydia was secretly in sympathy with the Southern cause and had little good to say of President Lincoln. Apparently, she even destroyed the letter after receiving it. Of her character, it is noted that she was perfectly untrustworthy and as bad as she could be. She even ran a brothel, or what some people would call a house of ill fame. Besides just her questionable character and sympathy of the Southern cause, the whole premise of the letter is false. It is now known that Lydia Bixby did not in fact lose 5 sons in battle. While 2 did die on the battlefield, one was honorably discharged, one joined the Confederate ranks, and the youngest was a deserter. Perhaps she was attempting to collect money or just sympathy, but it is still extremely odd. Even more surprising, she was involved in a similar case in 1862 when she claimed that one of her sons had been injured at Antietam and that she needed money in order to visit him. However, records indicated that no such event happened. It really seems that Lydia Bixby was more of a con artist than anything else, who had no real loyalties to the Union. Ironically, it appears that there could be no possible worse example of Union patriotism, but somehow the letter made its way to her. This is why decades after the war, historian William E. Barton declared the letter a beautiful blunder. Perhaps it was a blunder, but the letter has taken a life of its own, and has come to mean more than the story behind it. Lydia Bixby is just a name that represents the solemn pride to have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom that so many other Americans have felt. The letter is as poignant today as it was in 1864 because of the empathy and hope expressed is undeniable. In all reality, the controversy surrounding the letter is irrelevant to the larger truth of its words. The foundation of the United States was built upon sacrifice.